And on Urban Debate at 9, we want to discuss something rare in contemporary politics. And here I'm talking about political unity. Surprised? Yes, it actually happened. Viewers, your surprise will deepen if I tell you this unity came about in Karnataka Assembly. There has been a stalemate in the Karnataka Assembly. Work has been stalled due to protest over the hijab controversy and the death of a worker of a pro-Hindu outfit. But still, there was unity on two bills. No, it was not for the welfare of the 7-odd crore population of the state. It was a political unity for self-prosperity. And before the two bills were taken up, there were disruptions on for some days. Once bills were passed, the session was cut short. Let me unveil the cause for unity. The Karnataka Assembly passed the Karnataka Legislature Salaries, Pension and Allowances Amendment Bill that proposes a 60% hike in monthly salaries to all lawmakers, MLAs, MLCs from 25,000 rupees to 40,000 rupees per month. Second, the Karnataka Minister's Salaries and Allowances Amendment Bill that hikes the salary of the Chief Minister from 50,000 rupees to 75,000 rupees per month, whereas ministers will get 60,000 rupees against the existing 40,000 rupees. And this bill was also passed. All other allowances for our Netas in Karnataka have been hiked as well. The government cited considerable increase in the cost of living as the reason for the hikes. Salaries for MLAs, MLCs, Chief Minister and Ministers were last revised in the year 2015. Also, the government has introduced a clause to automatically revise salaries once every 5 years based on the cost of living indices. And no surprises, both bills were passed without any discussion and importantly, any disruption. Dear viewers, only one MLA in the assembly protested. The brave heart is Congress legislator Dr. Anjali Nimbalkar. She opposed the government's move to hike salaries of lawmakers, stating, "We do not want this. Pay the COVID bills of common man first, give them shelters, give better infrastructure, jobs, transport, better life for a person to survive in this pandemic." The average monthly salary of an MLA will now go up from 1.4 lakh rupees to a little over 2 lakh rupees. Now, there's nothing wrong in it. The financial stress that Netas are facing is due to steep rise in prices of petrol, diesel and other commodities. But this bonanza has come at a time when armed Indians have been losing jobs, salary cuts and price rise. The Karnataka government in December had tabled a report on mid-year review of state finances and it termed the fiscal position as weak due to a drop in revenue collection due to COVID. So despite admitting financial crunch, how does the Karnataka government justify this gift to the lawmakers? It is going to cost the exchequer 92 crore rupees annually. It's a case of public suffers, Netas prosper. Let's discuss this particular issue. Is it best case of priority management? Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Mohan Krishna, BJP leader Karnataka, Nizam Faujdar, who is spokesperson of the Congress Party, KPCC, Shailesh Gandhi, former Central Information Commissioner, live with us, PKD Nambiar, who is a political analyst, Sumansi Raman, political analyst, also with us on the broadcast. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Shailesh Gandhi, I want to begin the discussion with you. Does it really justify a salary hike at a time when the state itself had acknowledged major financial crunch because of dip in revenues due to COVID pandemic?
What I'm going to say might surprise you, but even as a normal citizen, I feel we devote our time on all the wrong causes. What the MLAs are going to earn, any manager who's 25, 30 in private industry earns today. I think we should stop cribbing, but get them to perform. We are not focusing on performance. We have a Lokpal, which is eating up nearly 1.5 crores rupees rather 3 crore rupees per month and not performing. But that doesn't bother us. If a salary hike goes up, it bothers us. MLA is not performing. We believe our job is done the moment we vote for somebody. Our job begins with that. Unless we have a citizenry which is taking care and getting accountability, this will keep happening. Personally, I think this is a non-issue and I don't think it's worth discussing this or getting agitated about this. We pick on non-issues. The political class also doesn't care about the non-issues that we pick.
Okay, so you think it is a non-issue. Sumant Raman, where do you stand on this particular matter? Because when there is financial stress, as far as the state is concerned, there are many things that the state government should be focusing on. And what the focus in the assembly was on increasing the salaries of MLAs, MLCs, chief minister, and everybody else. I mean, there's nothing wrong in having a salary hike, but look at the timing here. Everybody is suffering because of high inflation.
Yeah, I think that there are two issues here. One, I don't think anybody should grudge the MLAs a decent salary. And I think that today a salary of, a total emoluments coming to the region of around 1.5 to 2 lakhs cannot be called, an obscene amount of money or whatever. So I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem is the timing, as you so rightly said. When the state is reeling from a financial crisis, when inflation is hitting the pockets of the people, when many of the small and medium businesses are on the verge of closure following the pandemic, I think that it comes across as being grossly insensitive to the situation around them. And certainly, while I feel that they should be paid well, they should be held accountable, which never happens. I mean, you can pay them you can pay them 1 crore a month also. They're not going to be held accountable. That is not going to happen. Only the salaries will go up, but the accountability will not come. More pertinently, you see, there's got to be some understanding of the pain of the people. These are all people who claim to be men of the masses. They have come up the hard way, and they claim, with the exception of those dynasts and so on, they claim to be representatives of the masses. Where is the sensitivity? On what basis are they justifying taking a 50% pay hike when most people are losing their salaries or they are losing their sources of livelihood? So I think the timing is wrong, and there should be a accountability linked hike. Pay them as much as you want. A 90 crore or 100 crore for a state government is nothing. I would be quite happy to pay them 5 lakhs a month if you can hold them accountable. If they are not able to, justify the salary, then they should go. But we don't have it, and it's one of the very, very few, jobs in this country where there is zero accountability. You can say after 5 years people will reject, but now there are ways of getting re-elected without performing. And I come from a state where
you're also questioning the timing here and raising a question on the issue of accountability. An important point you've made, Sumant Raman. Mohan Krishna and Nizam Faujdar, this question is for both of you, and I want you to respond to it one after the other. The question is that nobody here has a problem with the salary hike. People who are working either in private sector or public sector have their salary hikes or salary revisions every year, but that is on the basis of performance. And the percentage is on the basis of the performance of that particular person. Here, what really justifies this 50-60% pay hike when already state is facing serious financial crunch? This is what, Karnataka government only has acknowledged. And at a time when so many people, because of COVID, have lost jobs, have had to face salary cuts and many other issues. Mohan Krishna first.
Good evening, Heena. It's very interesting. People have spoken about the salary hike. I would like to tell them one thing. This is also a career for the people representatives. Okay, and when they are making a career, they obviously seek a hike. As you mentioned, from 2015 there was no hike due to several reasons, and this is a practice in the government of any government for that matter, or government of Karnataka for that matter. Every 5 years it will be revised. Now coming into the situation, you are talking about the financial crunch. I would like to remind Sumant Raman that Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Finance Minister, has presented a budget, and as envisaged by Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi in the budget speech, after the budget speech when he was speaking about it, we have to move on. We have to move on from pandemic. We have to move on. When we have to move on, we have to have a big aspirations. To make a big aspiration to, I mean, वो ऊर्जा चाहिए ना, वो ऊर्जा देने के लिए पे हाइक जो होना था अभी हुआ है. आपने then you spoke about other issues. Why when there is a power hike or other things you have mentioned. Let me
Mr. Mohan Krishna, how can somebody who's lost a job in this pandemic move on? Can you just respond to this question, sir?
This budget, what has been presented at the central, is a aspirational budget and which will give a lot of jobs. We cannot keep on thinking that what happened in the past. We have suffered. We have to come to a stage. Again, we have to launch ourselves.
Sir, there are people who have lost their jobs. How can they move on? That's the basic question. Nizam Faujdar. It was only one legislator. Very quickly, sir. Sir, very quickly, please. I want to go across to other guests as well. Then I'll have my viewers as well calling us.
We have allocated the budget for the development activities also. Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka, Sri Bommai, has increased the pensions for the pensioners from whatever it was from 30 to 40%. And at the same time, he has given a scholarship to the farmers' kids also. These are also exchequer's money only. This is public money only. Look, we have to, what I am trying to tell you is, after the budget, we have to understand that we cannot keep on harping that we had pandemic, we had COVID for so many months, almost 2.5 years now. So we have to struggle. No, sorry, we have to move on. वो ऊर्जा चाहिए ना, वो ऊर्जा दे रहे हैं बस.
Okay, so salary hike for Netas is your way of moving on from the pandemic. What about the people, the hardships that people are facing? This inflation is a reality for the people of Karnataka as well. And Mr. Nizam Faujdar, it was only one legislator, in fact, in the Assembly, Dr. Anjali Nimbalkar, who is a Congress leader and a Congress person, and she was the only one who opposed the government's move to hike salaries of lawmakers, stating that we do not want this. Now, it is a legislator who's saying it, not me, not somebody from, not any other person from Karnataka. And she said, pay the COVID bills of common man first, give them shelters, give them better infrastructure, jobs, transport, better life for a person to survive in this pandemic. But what were the other MLAs, MLCs of the Congress party were really doing? When this particular bill was being passed unanimously, there was no disruption, there was no debate.
See, we should really salute Dr. Anjali Nimbalkar, and she speaks the Congress's line, and she speaks the language of the Congress. She speaks the heart of the Congress.
But she did not get anybody else's support. Why did your party not protest? Why did your party not protest? If she was raising a valid issue, sir, why did your party not protest inside the assembly?
I'm going to answer you. But we have to, before that, we have to understand what is the priority of this BJP government. When the GDP has shrunk by about 2.6% and the expected, expenditure is about 1,79,000 crores, that means 10% is about 17,000 to about 18,000 crores. And the amount of borrowing that has increased during these last 3-4 years is nearly about double or triple the times. And it's nearly about 2 lakh crores have been borrowed. And nearly about 50,000 enterprises within the Bangalore district have closed down, including the MSMEs, the hotels, the restaurants, and various establishments have closed down.
So what did you do, sir, to stop this extra burden on the exchequer?
Hold on.
What did your party do to stop this extra burden on the exchequer, sir? No, I know what you're talking about. I know, but I want, direct answer. I've asked you a very simple question. What did your party do in the assembly to ensure there is no extra burden on the exchequer? आप बता रहे हैं कि कितना फाइनेंशियल बर्डन है वो हम सबको पता है, कर्नाटका के लोगों को भी पता है, लेकिन आप ये बताइए एज द ऑपोजिशन आपने क्या किया असेंबली में इस मामले को?
नहीं, लोगों को पता चलने दीजिए। जब 3 काले कानून आए, बीजेपी ने पूछा था किसी को? कांग्रेस पार्टी से पूछा था या लोगों से पूछा था या तो किसानों से पूछा था? या कोई भी बिल आती है, अगर आप पार्लियामेंट में देखें या असेंबली में देखेंगे, बिजनेस कमेटी जो बिजनेस हाउस बिजनेस कमेटी जो होती है, उसमें नियरली दे डिस्कस अबाउट 1 minute, 2 minutes and 3 minutes, and they just bulldoze every bill. And today we want to show the country, we want to show the people of Karnataka that BJP is here.
So is that the reason why you did not protest? So is that the reason, Nizam Faujdar, that you did not protest when this particular bill was in the agenda? Nizam Faujdar, is this the reason that you did not protest when this bill was in the agenda? The bills are not really brought into the house by government as a whim.
We have not protested. It doesn't mean
prior notices are sent. What did your party do?
Anjali ji has spoken right, and
Mohan Krishna wanted to. Only one legislator spoke about it. You did not speak about it. Mohan Krishna, quick response. Then I'll go across to PKD Nambiar.
The people loot the treasury.
Electing the budget. He was talking about the.
अरे 40% लूटते हो रोज यार. You are extorting 40% from the contractors. Now you want the last penny of the purse, last penny of the treasury into your own pockets. Shame on you.
No, gentlemen, you can't speak over each other. We won't understand. We won't be able to understand what you both are saying. One at a time only, please. Mr. Mohan Krishna wanted to respond while you were speaking. Quick response, sir.
The quick response is that Congress priority is totally different. They have a different agenda. They have different toolkit to spoil the atmosphere in the state, atmosphere in the country.
The toolkit is to develop people, not loot like you.
That is why they are so. I am talking about the hypocrisy of Anjali Nimbalkar.
Heena ji, give me a minute. Give me 10 seconds. 10 seconds de dijiye.
Okay. Nizam Faujdar now wants to respond. Nizam Faujdar wants to respond. Mohan Krishna, you've made your point. You've made your point, sir. Sir, you've made your point. Nizam Faujdar, you're saying that BJP did not ask before coming out with 3 bills for the farm sector. You've been calling them black bills on farm laws. You call them black bills. You call them draconian, undemocratic. Now you tell me, what did you do? What did your party do in the assembly when this was there in the agenda? Did you protest? Did you ask for a debate? No, there was no debate. There was no disruption at all. Why?
Let the people of Karnataka know this bulldozer government is going to do what? 40% from the contractors. The Registered Contractors Association has written a letter to the PM, and PM is sitting like a sitting duck and not speaking a single word. And here comes another decision and a bill which is to loot the last penny of the treasury.
How does that justify your party not asking for a debate on this issue in the assembly?
BJP has been doing.
How does this justify your party not asking for a debate in the assembly on this very, very important matter? Because you did not want it to happen. Everybody wants a salary hike. PKD Nambiar has been waiting patiently for quite some time. PKD Nambiar, your response, then I'll go across to the viewers, the people of Karnataka.
Well, Heena, there are 2 elements which I wanted to put it across. One is that salary hike. I don't think there is no panic button has happened, and one need to be worried. You just need to understand 25,000 rupees is more of like a minimum wages in a place like Delhi. It's close to 20,000 rupees, and 25,000 becoming 40,000. That's not the real challenge. We need to understand that salary hike or a good salary for every
PKD Nambiar, this 25 to 30,000, 40,000 is just one component, by the way. There are specific allowances as well that are given to each one of them. So the actual sum is much higher. Yes, go ahead, please.
I'll give you an idea. For an MLA or an MLC, generally it will be about 1,80,000 to 2 lakh rupees is what one gets. Many of my friends are MLAs and MPs, and I do know this. And I, as a political student, I do have some interest on this, and I keep talking. But let me tell you one thing: that is not even if it is a 2 lakh rupees or a 5 lakh rupees for an MLA, it is not even a peanuts. Let me tell you this. An MLA gets an average about 100 people he has to host every day. Even, a couple of years back, one of the very famous, very old, and a very poor, one of the poorest MP from Uttarakhand, he is now a governor. He used to say that even whatever I get, I don't know where I have to borrow money to feed the people who comes to his place. Chai, coffee पिलाने के लिए पैसा और किसी से मांगना पड़ता है. So I think it is not about the salary, but I have one thing which I wanted to tell. Today we are seeing a different kind of a politics all across, whether it is in Karnataka, Telangana, or in Andhra Pradesh, or in Tamil Nadu, and etc. Millionaires and billionaires. Most of our MLAs and MPs are millionaires and billionaires. And Heena, on your show, I think what you should be taking it up. Let the salary be increased of as much as they want. But at least all these billionaires and millionaires should say that we don't want any salary, because we are here for a social service. And social service is a fully committed job.
There's no problem with salary hike. Everybody gets a salary hike. And like Mr. Mohan Krishna mentioned earlier, for people, it's a career. Everybody deserves a salary hike, but then there needs to be some kind of accountability as well. You need to deliver too. By the way, the point that you were making about 25,000 to 40,000, we all know that, the basic salary is kept low. That keeps the tax liability at the lower end. So clearly there are many other allowances as well. Stay on with us, all of you gentlemen. Let's also now hear what the people of Karnataka have to say. Matthew is joining us from Bengaluru this evening. Matthew, good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you will like to say?
Very good evening, Heena. Yes, I am actually surprised why they have stopped at 60%. They could have made it 600%, because there is nobody who is stopping them. Because the common man like us, 80% of our nation are poor people and the lower middle class. We are struggling to meet two ends at the end of the day. And our tax and everything, they are enjoying it. And it's a pity that we are expecting more, because we don't have any more saints as politicians. So I would rather say that let them enjoy, have a nice time.
Matthew, appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. So people are in distress. We have Lakshmi Shekhar also joining us from Bengaluru. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
Yes, good evening. See, this is regarding salary hike of MLAs and MPs. See, very important thing is in Bangalore, last 2-3 months back, this bus drivers, BMTC and KSRTC bus drivers and conductors, they gone for strike for the minimum salary hike. This, our government does not have any concern about increasing the salary of the laborers who are struggling day by day, every day. They are driving more than 200, 300 kilometers. Okay, when they are not ready to increase their salaries, these people, they does not have any, they cannot go for their salary hike. That is the first thing. Second thing is, all the MLAs, MPs they are disclosing their asset. More than 1 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore. Some MLAs are having more than 800 crores, their asset. See, whether is they are depending on this salary and their mobile charge, transport charges. Even they are not attending the assembly properly. They are taking more than 5,000, 10,000 per day for attending the salary. Is it very much? Is it necessary? Is it necessary? They have to think about the people first. Then afterwards they have to think about their salary.
Lakshmi Shekhar. Absolutely. Lakshmi Shekhar, appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. We have N. Chandrasekhar from Shivamogga also joining us on the broadcast this evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
Madam, this is minor issue. Only 100 crores are being spent by these fellows for their salary, and nobody has objected. They have passed the bill without the notice of anybody. Even another bill in which 362 gazetted officers who were declared by Supreme Court are illegal, they have also been made regularized by the bill. That is why the assembly has been convened. And after the passing of the bill, they have adjourned the assembly. This is shame on the part of the government.
Okay, N. Chandrasekhar, appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. Mohan Krishna wanted to respond, then PKD Nambiar.
Yeah, I would like to remind certain things to the people of Karnataka and the people who are watching this show today. There are about 68 first-time MLAs in this assembly, 47 second-time MLAs, 49 third-time MLAs, and Mr. Yediyurappa, who is the senior most, is the 8th-term MLA, and Umesh Katti is 7th-term MLA. I'm talking about the present constituent of assembly. What I am trying to tell you here is this is not a permanent job for them. If you go by the cycle in the assembly elections, 50 to 55% of the elected members will not come back again. I'm trying to tell you that. Out of this 96, only 96 got 96 plus 2, 98. So 100 people have re-elected and other 124 not. So we have to understand.
Do they get a pension? Do they get a pension?
Mr. Suman Raman.
Okay.
Mr. Suman Raman. Mr. Suman Raman, please wait. I want to answer you. You asked accountability.
Heena, can I answer this? I need to respond to this. I want to respond to the superb logic that Mr. Mohan is expressing here.
People who vote for them, and it is there. It is evident from the figures. It is evident from the figures. 50 to 55%.
Heena, can I answer? Can I respond to
Nizam
this?
Faujdar also wants to respond. Then Suman Raman.
Mohan Krishna is.
Okay, Mohan Krishna, you've made your point. Nizam Faujdar wants to respond now.
You
Very
know what,
quickly, please.
Heena, he is saying because they are going to retire from the assembly, they need to get a hike and they want to fill their purses. I think this is the most illogical statement that a BJP or any person can make. What is the logic behind an increase in the salary when people are struggling on the roads and then they are struggling to pay their rentals and
And gentlemen, even I want to present some data. Sumansi Raman, 1 second, calm down. You both have made your points. Your points, gentlemen. Please calm down. Sumansi Raman, Mohan Krishna gave us some data right now. I also have some data that I want to share with you all and with our viewers as well. 1 second. 1 second. We'll go. 1 second. Mr. Faujdar, 1 second. Sumansi Raman, let's tell our viewers also something about Karnataka's crorepati MLAs. Average assets have gone up to 34.59 crore for re-elected legislatures. It's about, up by about almost 90%. And this was in 2018, that data that was released. The average assets have risen from 10.05 crore rupees in 2008 to 34.59 crores in 2018. This is as per a report by Karnataka Election Watch and Association for Democratic Reforms.
Yeah, I think, see, before that, what Mr. Mohan Krishna said about the, they are voted out, it's not a job for life and all that. There are some states in India, which almost all the states give you a pension for life, even if you have been a member for 1 term, right? So I don't know how many jobs will give you a pension for life if you have worked for 5 years. Okay, that's point number 1.
Even in these bills, there is a provision for pension. Sumansi Raman, Mr. Mohan Krishna said, Sumansi Raman, that many MLAs may not get re-elected. But let me tell you, the bills have guaranteed that also. All MLAs and MLCs will get 60,000 rupees per month as constituency travelling allowance. And they will also get a pension of 50,000 rupees per month. So that's taken care.
That's exactly
yes,
my
that's
point.
taken care of.
Oh, by the way, I can add to it, Heena. It gets even crazier. There are some states
BJP.
where
Rule number one: don't listen to the lies of the
One,
BJP.
one,
Think
one,
of
one
their
second.
intent.
There are some states.
One second.
In
Let
India,
Sumansi Raman respond.
yeah.
I'll give time.
Yeah, there are some states in India where if you complete 1 year, forget a full term, you are entitled to pension for life. Do you know that? There are many state assemblies where if you complete 1 year of a term and then let us say you resign, you will be entitled to pension for life. So I think I don't know how many of you saw Mr. Arif Mohammed Khan in Kerala pointing out the assistants to ministers in the Kerala government, where they would have a 4-year term with the rule that if you complete 2 years and resign, you will and then you will be entitled to a pension. So they would ask these people to resign so that more party workers can be appointed for the remaining 2 years. So this is, this is just one big party at the public expense. That's it.
Very quickly,
Okay, Shailesh Gandhi wanted to respond as well.
I found it very amusing that the BJP representative felt that urja aayegi pagar badhane se. This new theory of urja getting generated, energy generation is something very novel, and I'm sure India's power shortage can become better. The Congress gentleman did a fantastic somersault. He said Miss Anjali has done a fantastic job, but for the others, he refused to answer why the others passed the bill. He also acted in a completely irresponsible manner. He did not even address the issue. Take a position which is valid, which says either we believe salaries should not have been high, or Miss Anjali was doing grandstanding, which is what I think it is. I am repeating again and saying, let us ask for accountability for work. That is something which is missing. Most TV debates talk of salary hikes, privileges of MLAs, etc., but very few talk in terms of what did the MLAs do. To give just one example, today the Lokayukt in India is doing no work, zero work, and is burning 3 crore rupees a month. And nobody is discussing it. The entire Indian media doesn't discuss it. Lokayukts don't do any work. Human rights commissions, national human rights commissions, women's commission, most of these are unaccountable. Let us get accountability if we want good governance. Do we only want to debate and discuss and shout over each other in such discussions?
You will be happy to know that Mirror Now is one channel that discusses these very, very important issues, and we have discussed the issue of Lokayukt and the concerns, the problems that are there in Karnataka, specifically right here on Urban Debate. But you're making some very valid points. Let's also hear from our viewers who are calling us from different parts of the country as well now. Prem Singh is with us from Alwar this evening. Prem Singh, thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say? Prem Singh, can you hear me? Can you put your television on mute and speak to us, please? Okay. I don't think he's able to hear me. We have Anthony joining us from Mysuru as well. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, the first thing is that one of the BJP government has accepted that there is a price hike and we are living in a pathetic situation. And the struggle is for everyone. And second thing is that one of the panel members spoke about salary hike because they don't come to power with this second time on down. I like to say to him that this is a service. When they get elected as MLAs and the MLCs, it is not a job or a profession wherein loot the money and keep it for your lifelong. I feel so sad because when the ordinary members in every nook and corner they are struggling, but the price hike has affected everyone. Where the MLAs wanted to increase their salary, same thing can be applied for all the government jobs all over Karnataka as well as for the entire nation. Thank you.
Important points you've made, Anthony. Appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now. I'll get the BJP to respond to that. Let me go across to one more viewer joining us. One second. We have one more viewer joining us. I'll come back to the debate again. John from Chennai is with us. John, good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
Good evening, ma'am. First of all, I agree that the people representatives need to have a decent salary. But at the same time, when the general public, the common man, when they are experiencing a lot of difficulties during this pandemic situation, based on the job cuts, salary cuts, like that, the people, when they are struggling a lot, and the people representatives, they need to share their difficulties. At this time, it's not necessary for them to say, make a hike in the salary. Because most of the people are experiencing a lot of difficulties. They need to, struggle a lot to maintain their life. So at this juncture, it's not necessary to raise the salary hike. And already they are...
All right, thank you very much, John. All right, John, appreciate you calling us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. Okay, Mr. Faujdar, I think, wanted to make a point first.
Yes, Heena, call after call, every viewer who is watching your channel and who will watch on the YouTube as well as on various platforms in the coming days, in the coming hours, are only saying that this government is not taking care of its people, but it's taking care of themselves. And this is the intent of the BJP, and this is the plight of the people of Karnataka.
Did your party protest in the assembly when these bills were being passed, sir? There was only one legislator who spoke about the plight of Karnataka people. What did you do? What did your party do? You can't act holier than thou. I'm sorry. You are equally responsible today as the BJP as far as this issue is concerned. We have seen your political party holding protests. We've got the most dramatic visuals from Karnataka Assembly time and again. What did your party do when these bills were being cleared, sir?
1 minute. Can I ask him one more question?
It is very clear from the thoughts. It is very clear from the thoughts.
1 second, Sumansi Raman. Sumansi Raman, he has not been responding to this very pertinent question. 1 second.
Heena, let me answer
as an opposition, you will not do anything.
From the question that you are asking,
when you are in opposition, no accountability. You won't do anything. Won't even play the role of the opposition.
This administration with more responsibility, and I thank you for that kind of.
Sumansi Raman.
Really thank you
Sumansi Raman, please.
The intent that you are showing on this channel, that you would want us to be in power, rule this state, and give a better governance.
No, 1 second, sir. Nothing prevented the
Congress. No. My point is simple. Today you are attacking the government, but the public is watching you because it was for your benefit. You did not care to protest. You did not care to even ask for a debate, sir, in the assembly.
We will come back into the power and show what.
Okay, Mr. Faujdar, I've given you enough time. Sumansi Raman wants to make a point now. Please, Sumansi Raman. Yes.
Let us be very... No, 1 second,
नहीं, हमने आपको भी पूरा टाइम दिया है, सबको पूरा वक्त दे रहे हैं अपनी बात कहने के लिए, लेकिन आप आपसे जो सीधा सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, आप उसका जवाब नहीं दे रहे हैं. Sumansi Raman.
First of all, let us be clear. This is not a BJP issue or a Congress issue of the...
Mr. Faujdar, please wait now, please. Please, sir, 1 second. Let others also speak. Let others also speak, sir.
1 second.
BJP is doing. Why don't you discuss that?
Yeah, you don't want us to talk about this issue. Mr. Faujdar, please, 1 second. Mr. Faujdar, please calm down. Fader down, please. Sumansi Raman is going to speak. Only Sumansi Raman is going to speak.
My point is, Heena, this is not a BJP thing or a Congress thing. Every single political party across the country is equally guilty in larger or smaller measure on this particular thing. Nothing prevented DK Shivakumar or Mr. Siddaramaiah from staging a dharna saying that we are against this whole thing. The Congress party stands against this and we will not be accepting it. I remember that, I don't remember when it was, but there have been instances in the past where political parties have taken such a stand. Nothing prevents the Congress party from taking that stand in Karnataka. So to say that, government has passed it, it is beyond our control is complete nonsense. Even if the government wants to pass it, let the opposition prove that they are committed not to have the hike. There is nothing to prevent the opposition MLAs from saying that, look, we will not accept the hike, and it is it is a measure which
And
should not be done
PKD
at this time.
Nambiyar, every member of the assembly has got a right to move a division, seek a vote. Did any Congress MLA exercise this right?
Well, Heena, I think sometimes I feel that what we are discussing and what the purpose of discussion that just get lost in the conversation. You need to understand that it is always any assembly across India, irrespective of political parties, whenever there was something related to their compensation, every party supported. So it is not whether it is in Delhi, if you recall in a couple of years ago, when the Aam Aadmi party came into the power, even the BJP members, very few of them, 3 of them were there, they just walked out. They did not oppose it. So I think it is not about the increase of the salary or the perks of these people. You also need to understand in this country, a large number of politicians, there is a public perception. All politicians are corrupt. All politicians are very rich. There are some very, I have some of the member of legislatures and member of parliaments in my own family who has committed their life for the public service. They do not even have anything. There is zero earning. But then how would they serve
PKD
to the
Nambiyar,
people?
while you are justifying the salary hike, let me reiterate for the benefit of our viewers as well. Nobody is questioning the salary hike. They deserve it. Everybody deserves it because financial trouble is a reality. Price rise is a reality. Everyone is facing it today. But PKD Nambiyar, one second, gentlemen, please. In 2021, the issue here is of timing. The issue here is of accountability that Mr. Sumansi Raman had also raised earlier. Now, Mr. PKD Nambiyar, in 2021, the attendance sheet of Karnataka MLAs from the first week of the Karnataka Assembly session shows that almost 40% of the MLAs did not even show up in the Assembly to discuss the many issues plaguing the state. Meanwhile, the cost of the Special Assembly session at that time, sir, was 20 crore rupees for 10 days. And this does not include the salaries of these people. Where is the accountability here?
Absolutely.
Why should we not ask these questions? Why are you calling them irrelevant?
Heena, can I come back to you on this, the same thing, your first question? About the attendance of all these, or the participation of these MLAs and MLCs in the assembly. We should hold a program whenever there is an assembly is on, then you should hold a program and say that these MLAs are not present. These MLAs' quality of performance in the assembly is poor. You should also have a performance index as an MLA, what they have done for their constituency. We are a democracy. Every 5-year time, the people of this country, the people elect those people. As I said, let's not create some kind of a phobia about all the politicians are corrupt, all the politicians are rich. It is not the truth. There are, like for an example, in Orissa, a large number of politicians and MLAs are...
I'm not saying that. PKD Nambiyar, I never said it. Sumansi Raman, it is only about accountability. Why I raised that particular issue? Because the same legislators were not even present in the assembly. Let me give you another set of data. No, I am not confusing. You are trying to justify. Sir, I here have not raised any question. Come on, Mr. PKD Nambiyar, 1 second. You are not responding to the point that I raised, and you are trying to tell me that I am getting confused. 1 second, Mr. PKD Nambiyar, 1 second. 1 second, it is about accountability, sir. You are paid because you need to do something for the state. What are these legislators doing? I am asking a simple question. Sumansi Raman, I was looking at the data. Again, okay, we'll go across to Sumansi Raman in just a bit. But Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, as per the ADR data, only 208. 1 second, PKD Nambiyar, please. 1 second. Hold on, please. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, ADR has claimed that only 208 out of 228 legislators asked questions in the assembly before the current one. The 14th assembly recorded 216 days of sitting between 2013 and 2017, which is 44 days on an average per year. Where is the accountability, sir?
Ma'am, I completely agree. These are the relevant issues that we should be actually holding them accountable for. And on the sideline, if they have to wait for conditions to be good, अच्छे दिन तो कब आएंगे पता नहीं, उनको सैलरी हाइक ही नहीं मिलेगा.
In fact, sir, you've been one of the biggest names in this battle for right to information, and this is the kind of data that we've got. And today, these legislators have got a salary hike, and you also heard, sir, from the people of Karnataka, what they have to say. You know, one of the viewers told us, you also heard him, who said that at least with this, the government has acknowledged that there is price rise. It is a cause of concern. But is it a cause of concern just for the Netas, not for the people of Karnataka?
I'm saying hold them accountable, but do not crib about salary hikes of this order. As Sumansi Raman himself also said, even 5 lakhs is not too obscene. I think a lot of private industry managers get that kind of money. So let's be willing to pay. Let's make it such that honest MLAs can survive reasonably and live a reasonably satisfactory life. That's my submission, man. And as I said, अच्छे दिन तो कब आएंगे पता नहीं है उनको.
All right. All right, Mohan Krishna, I want to give you the last word because you've been waiting to respond and many viewers asked direct questions of the BJP as well.
Yeah, I would like to answer on 2 things.
Heena, you got to give me 10 seconds.
Congress has got a habit of disturbing the parliament, disturbing the assemblies throughout India. People have observed and they have kept them in where they should be. And now they will teach the lesson in the coming assembly elections in Karnataka also. I would like to mention 2 things here. We have to attract young India has got young politicians have to come into the foray. When politicians have to opt for this career, they look for a better salary because today's younger generation, they look into these minor aspects. Coming to, I would like to talk in a very lighter vein. Even if the salary is high, the tax cut, the income tax, they will pay it back to the government back again. Okay. Coming to the point, see, Mr. Sumansi Raman is talking about accountability. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi is saying about accountability. But accountability is only for MLAs and MLCs and these elected representatives. Is it not the accountability of the people of the state? The people of the state have taught lesson to these people every 5 years. And whenever they have gone to the people, see, this is a very simple, democracy is such a fantastic in India. That is why it is described and prescribed for many more countries in the world. So what we have to think is, of moving on moving on in right direction than thinking of the past, like what Congress is doing this time.
Okay, you've made your point. Nizam Faujdar has been wanting to come in. I have very little time left. Quick comments, 10 seconds only. Nizam Faujdar.
Heena, you have made it very clear in this debate that the people and the media and everybody wants Congress back in power and want to give a great, clean and wonderful administration.
No, I have not said it. Nizam Faujdar, I have not said it. I don't know why you are saying this. When did I say that? Nizam Faujdar, come on.
Second part to
you know, you did not ask for a debate in the assembly just because you were benefiting as well. Because it was convenient for you. I never said what you're saying. Come on.
Everybody wants Congress back in power. Second part to it.
People are watching.
After 40 years, after 40 years,
everywhere to blame. And the third part,
Okay, gentlemen, Sumansi Raman, I want to give you the last word because आपने भी कोई जवाब नहीं दिया है निजाम फौजदार. You also have not responded to the basic question of the debate. Sumansi Raman, I want to give you the last word very quickly, closing comments.
Yeah, I first of all, I'm going to end with what I started with pretty much, in the sense that first, all parties are equally guilty to a larger or lesser extent as far as this issue is concerned. Second, pay them well, but hold them accountable, and build in a mechanism where people would have an ability to question them on an ongoing basis and not once in 5 years. I mean, this is something which is one of the basic problems with our democracy, where once somebody is elected, if you don't like him, too bad, you wait for 5 years and then you vote him out. But that is simply not enough. You need them to be accountable during their stay in the assembly. And right now, there is zero accountability when they are MLAs, and except the notional thing that next time they will not
accountability, but 50 to 60% salary hike is what they are now going to get. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We have to slip into a very short break. Lots lined up for you on the other side as well. Stay with us.